Hey you, yeah you who clicked on this video. Thanks for giving our channel a shot. And if you will, please do us the honor of watching the video all the way through. Appreciate it. Now onto the video.
What's going on, everybody? Jacob here with 8-Bit Heroes, and we have some monumental news coming out of Warner Brothers Discovery and DC in particular. So James Gunn dropped a video today on the 31st of January, and he is talking about his 8 to 10 year plan for the DCU. So what does that look like? Well, what he talks about is he wants to ensure synergy between the mediums, that's movies, games, and TV. So I want to just say to all my haters out there, all the ops, I was right yet again. Moving on. He also announces that Shazam will flow into Flash, which we knew, and will reset the DCU. But then he mentions Aquaman 2, and I don't know. I don't know if he's trying to, again, save the hype for those movies, but based on what he says later, which we'll get into in just a moment, it doesn't look like that's really going to fit in any substantial way. So then he talks about Blue Beetle basically kicking things off. And so my thoughts on that are, I think Blue Beetle will stick around. And I think that they may or may not, I don't know, they may keep Zachary Levi Shazam, but I wouldn't bet the farm on it just because of what James Gunn is saying. He doesn't really seem to be very enthusiastic about any of the previous properties with the exception of Blue Beetle. So on top of that, we're also getting the first chapter of the 8 to 10 year plan called Gods and Monsters. And it's going to start with a series called Creature Commandos. And that's written by James Gunn. It'll be an HBO Max series, and it'll be written by James Gunn. Now, what's interesting about this is that it's an animated series, but these characters are apparently going to appear in live action as well. And so the voice actors for the cast of the animated series will portray their live action counterparts. So those actors will have to be voice actors and live action actors, which I don't think is a really big deal for an actor. So we'll see, but that just really sounds cool. That's very interesting to me. Also, coming up, we have an Amanda Waller series. Now, a lot of us were speculating whether or not James Gunn was going to keep his creations, in particular, his version of the Suicide Squad. And it looks like he may be keeping pieces of that in the form of the Amanda Waller series, which will be starring Viola Davis, and it will also co-star the Team Peacemaker. So her daughter and the various surviving members of Team Peacemaker's, squad. So if you know, you know. So that looks interesting. Now here's the meat of it. So he says that officially the DCU on film will be kicked off by Superman Legacy, and that will premiere July 11th, 2025. Now, we don't know what form that's going to take, whether that's going to be what kind of Superman story, but we do know that it's not going to be an origin story. James Gunn has already commented on this, that he does not want to, in fact, do a new Superman origin story. So I'm picturing this is going to be a young Superman in the heyday of his career, but not like a seasoned older Superman like we saw with like a Christopher Reeve Superman. But we'll see. I think personally that this might be a good direction, especially giving it time to breathe. You know, a lot of people are still heated about Henry Cavill. So I think that this will be a good time to really breathe and reflect. So July 11th, 2025. Next is Lanterns. Now, this is something I'm really excited about. So Lanterns is supposed to be a mystery series, like almost like a True Detective. That's what James Gunn says. Between John Stewart Green Lantern and Hal Jordan Green Lantern. He says there will be other Green Lanterns, but the main focus is on John Stewart and Hal Jordan. I think that this is awesome because it'll bring two very important fan bases together, in particular the fan base from the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited series, in which the main Green Lantern was John Stewart, and then like really old school fans who really love Hal Jordan. I feel like this will be a great opportunity to bring them together. So I'm really excited about that. Then we have The Authority. Now, this is something that's also interesting because The Authority will be a film that introduces the Wildstorm characters. Anybody that knows about Image Comics, knows about DC, knows about Jim Lee, knows about Wildstorm. Those characters will be brought into the DCU with the introduction of this movie, The Authority. And this looks like a almost like a Watchmen style, but also in the vein of Eternals, where you have a bunch of disillusioned heroes who are quasi-omnipotent, who want to fix the world by any means possible. So we'll see what happens with that, but I'm really excited about it. Next, we have Paradise Lost, which is a series about Paradise Island. I hate when people call it Paradise Island. It's Themyscira, but James Gunn does use them interchangeably, but it's called Paradise Lost. And it's basically a Game of Thrones style political intrigue series set on the island of Themyscira, where Wonder Woman is from. So I think that'll be cool. There are a lot of Wonder Woman fans out there. And, I think that this will give them an opportunity to let the Amazon shine. They'll probably bring in characters like Nubia and Donna Troy and things like that. But we'll see what happens. Next, we have The Brave and the Bold, which is a Batman movie, and it will introduce Damian Wayne as the active Robin. And this movie is supposed to also introduce us to the Bat family. It's going to be based on the Grant Morrison run of Batman, in which Damian was the Robin. And anybody that knows, Damian Wayne is in fact Batman's biological son. He had with Talia al Ghul. So we'll see what happens with this. Next is a live action series for HBO Max called Booster Gold, based on the Booster Gold character. And I kind of knew that this was going to happen. James Gunn specializes in really offbeat teams and offbeat characters, and nobody's more offbeat than Booster Gold. So basically, we get to see this kind of hero impersonator get his own series and become the hero that he was meant to be. So I think that that'll be interesting. Also, something I'm kind of worried about, a little trepidatious about, is Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. And this is an interesting take on Supergirl. This is based on a Tom King run of books. And basically, it's a more jaded, hardened Supergirl who has had to deal with a lot of loss in her life. Now, people are really mixed on Tom King books. So even though there's some things of his I like, and there's some things I'm not really too keen on, in particular his Batman run, I think that this might do okay, but we'll see. Like I say, I'm cautiously optimistic about this one. Next, or last but not least, we have a Swamp Thing movie. Now, I was one of those people that was super disappointed when that Swamp Thing series was canceled. I loved that. The one starring Crystal Reed. I really, really enjoyed that, and I was so pissed off when it was gone because I love Swamp Thing. And this is going to be a movie. It's going to have a dark tone to it, as Swamp Thing should. So I'm really looking forward to this. When they're going to give some love to my man, Animal Man, if you know, you know. But this looks like it's probably going to be really good. A lot of these things don't have dates for them, so this is just in the planning stages for a lot of these things. They're in development. But I think that Peter Safran and James Gunn will make a better effort and a better attempt than what we saw from Ann Sarnoff and Walter Hamada. So we'll see what happens, but I'm cautiously optimistic about most of this, and some of this stuff I'm just outright stoked for. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. I mean, James Gunn flat out says that he thinks that story should be king. He thinks that the storytelling is really what's going to drive this, and I hope that's the case. I hope that we can do with less of the message and more of great stories. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments, whether or not you think that, hey, some of these things sound really awesome, hey, I'm mixed on it, or hey, I really could care less about what DC has to offer. Sound off in the comment section below, and we'll see you on the next one. 8-Bit Heroes out. Peace.
If you'd like to give a shout out on the channel, then hit that like button, maybe share it with a couple of friends, and do us the biggest honor of all, and subscribe to the channel so you can join the 8-Bit Heroes family. And while you're at it, hit that bell icon so you can be notified when our new videos come out.